What's cracking, everybody? XehrFelrose here, bringing you some Pokemon Go Battle League content. In today's video, we're going to be taking a look at a super strong Master League team featuring Mewtwo on the safe swap with the Rayquaza Groudon core. I did take a note out of Rise to Occasion's book with this one. He was running the Rayquaza Excadrill core with a Mewtwo in the back, but I figured since I really prefer running my Groudon over Excadrill, the mole was just too squishy for my like. Go ahead and gave it a shot. Had a really nice rip on the stream on last Monday here. And let's get into these battles and see what it's all about. Again, you can catch these battles on the stream. You can go back and watch the repeat, the VOD, or join me in my streams here on the channel Monday, Wednesday, Friday at 6 p.m. Eastern. In the first battle, we've got a Mewtwo on the lead, shiny Mewtwo with that nice flex trainer. I'm going to shield up the first Size Strike since I would like to stay in and play this matchup out. I don't really feel comfortable with swapping in my Groudon because there's a chance that my opponent might have something in the back like a Lugia or a Flyer of some kind. So what I'm going to do here, since my opponent likes to throw on like the immediate, as soon as they get the 5, I'm going to bank that thought for later, and then I'm going to swap my Mewtwo, catch the Size Strike on my own Mewtwo, and they come in with a Xerneas. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to build up some energy. I'm going to play this out. I want to try and get shield advantage for my opponent. They've already let one shield through. And I'm thinking, man, this Moonblast probably hurts. So I'm going to go ahead and give it a shield again. I've got a lot of energy. Well, I mean, enough energy to make it dangerous. And they have to go for another Moonblast in order to take me out. And I know that because I have 3 Size Strikes worth of energy, I can get to 7 more before they get to the next Moonblast, because that's how many I can fit into their 5 Geomancies before I have to basically take another move. So gonna go ahead and let my Mewtwo go here. I have no shields left. I don't really have a choice. Moonblast is gonna take me out. But now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna come with my Groudon and go for a farm down here. My opponent goes straight for a move. I imagine this is probably close combat. Might be a Moonblast, but no, it's close combat. And I'm gonna try and farm them down. But they come in with the Kyogre hard swapped. They have a Mewtwo in the back, I think. Yeah, they still have the Mewtwo? No, they swapped out. Yeah, they swapped out of the Mewtwo, and I've now got this Kyogre locked on my Rayquaza, and even if my opponent gets to a Thunder or a Blizzard, at this point, their attack has been lowered by 2 stages. Rayquaza's got it down into a range where it could practically farm it down. But my opponent, roaring with that Thunder, not even able to KO Rayquaza after 2 debuffs. Rayquaza's just chilling here. Opponent comes in with the Xerneas, farms me down, but they're not close enough to a move. I'm going to be able to get this farm down. Unleash the Precipice Blades into the Mewtwo. And that's going to be a good game. We'll hit the button just for good measure here. Takes him out. Going to be a good game. Well played to my opponent. Getting into the next battle here. We've got a horrible lead in Xerneas, so we're going to immediately pivot into my Mewtwo here, and the opponent's going to come out with a Dragonite. Now, you see how much energy I had? I got about 4 Size Strikes worth of energy before they came in with that Dragonite. That is a huge boon for me, because I can get to 2 Size Strikes before my opponent is in range to be able to take me out with any Dragon Claws. So they're going to take 1. And then, honestly, a Dragon Claw won't KO me here. What I want to know is, will I survive a Dragon Claw plus 3 more Cycle Cuts worth of Dragon Breaths? And Mewtwo hangs on like a champion. The true #1. Dialga can take a back seat. Mewtwo's here, gets me 2 shield advantage, and I can almost farm down with Rayquaza. I will not shield this. I'm going to keep both shields for my Groudon. I'm hoping this might be my opponent's only Flyer. Getting the farm down here with Rayquaza. Opponent comes back in with their Xerneas, and they are not swapping out. That could very much mean that what they have in the back does not want to see my Groudon. Probably a Dialga, if I'm being honest, considering they had a Dragon in the back. So my opponent's staying in. I'm going to go for the Precipice Blades on good timing. Again, that's going to be 1-4-7 on these 2-turn moves like Mudshot into something like a 3-turn move like Geomancy. And my opponent farming up for another move. I'm going to go and throw my Fire Punch on the CMP tie here to take out the Xerneas. And we have an Excadrill, which is almost as good as a Dialga. They're not going to be able to one-shot me by any means, and I can just go for the Precipice Blades and take out the Excadrill, and they quit. But they can still get the button. Good game to my opponent. Groudon as a closer is just so strong. If you can keep it off of Flyers, it can wreck almost anything, because Precipice Blades is just a broken move. It's also Legacy, and I forgot to put the little star next to it. My opponent, okay, I remember this game. I felt like a fool. I meant to come in with my Mewtwo here, but, I mean, y'all have done it before, I'm sure. You misclick, you click the wrong Pokemon, and I forgot that my Groudon's not a Mega. No, I hit the wrong button. I just wanted to keep my Groudon off of, I think, whatever they had in the lead there. And I accidentally brought it in. It was supposed to be Mewtwo. I shield this up because I'm now interested in trying to make a play for Switch. If I can, I would prefer it, to be honest. So I'm going to go for Fire Punches here. My opponent is going to have to put a shield up in order to win this matchup. So I'm hoping to at least get that much. But my opponent no shields, and now I can just farm all the way down, which is huge. Yeah, I should have brought my Mewtwo in because that would have kept it away from the Giratina. So go me, I guess. But in any case, yeah, Mewtwo, definitely swap in your Mewtwo against the Togekiss. Don't do the stupid thing like I just did. But I'm going to be able to hit the Giratina with the Precipice Blades before going down. And then I have my Rayquaza come in, and it's going to have to eat a Shadow Ball. I hate it, but it's going to have to do it. And I'm going to hope that Mewtwo with one shield will be enough here. And they send in a Charm Primarina. Giratina double charm has no place here. Gonna farm up a ton of energy and throw on as good timing as I can possibly help it. I'm honestly not great with swap timing. I'm gonna be honest. I mess up that timing all the time. But gonna continue to farm up energy. I just need 2 Psy Strikes, so I'm not gonna leave until I'm close enough to 2 Psy Strikes. So I'll go 1, 2, 3, 4 into this Primarina, have 2 Psy Strikes loaded, and then if they do shield this one, I can go 1 Psy Strike, and then the Giratina will not be able to farm me up enough, but they are going to have to eat this now. And the opponent's Giratina is low enough that my Rayquaza could absolutely come in and farm it down here. Opponent's not going to get enough farm to get to a charge move, so I'll go for the Breaking Swipe right away since they don't have a shield. And going to be able to take him out, and that's going to be a good game. Well played, but get your Double Charm out of here. There's no respect for Double Charm. Anyway, into the next game here, we've got a Glaceon on the lead. Now this is actually, I was on stream and my buddy stream sniped me. He swears he didn't do it, but he picked the spiciest, most hard, he picked the spiciest hard counters he could possibly find. He knew what I was running because he was hanging out with me on stream. That's all good. But what a guy, dude. So I'm gonna go for Psy Strike. I know that there's absolutely no way that Mewtwo wins this matchup. So all I'm going to do here is I'm going to go for the second Psy Strike right away. The best I could probably hope for here is Shield Advantage. Snarl Night Slash is an extremely quick combo, and there's no way that I'm outpacing this thing. So I'm going to try to get to another Psy Strike, but my opponent showing great energy management here. Hits me with a Night Slash and takes out my Mewtwo, and then he's going to hit me another Night Slash. Thank goodness he didn't boost. That would have been catastrophic. Goes by the close combat, full sends it. I almost wonder if the Night Slash would have done more damage, but the close combat does lower the defense, so it makes it so that he cannot give me too much farm, which I was kind of hoping to have the Ancient Power right away. And speaking of Ancient Power, I run Ancient Power on this team, and I think I prefer it just to deal with the Ho-Oh leads, because with Groudon, you kind of have to have a harder answer to it. And then he has a Waterfall Gyarados in the back. I'm like, yeah, I lose. Thanks for playing. Thanks for nothing. Also, by the way, folks, something that I have noticed while I was playing in the Master League, if you have your Groudon and you're up against an opponent who double resists your, you have a flyer, they double resist your Precipice Blades, and they resist your Fire Punch, the Dragonite, Gyarados. It's actually more energy efficient, I do believe, to throw the Precipice Blades, but I could be wrong. And this good guy top lefts because he knows what he did. He did it on purpose, but he gives me the win anyway, so appreciate you, man. Next game, we've got Dragonite in the lead versus a my Rayquaza, and then the opponent immediately swaps into a Golden Go, which something I'm still working on. Don't have for my roster yet, but maybe someday. Maybe. Opponent goes for the Shadow Ball. I'm looking to give that Dragonite as little farm as possible, so with some good timing, I'm going to throw this Precipice Blades. If the opponent decides to shield this for some reason, they should be getting close to Fire Punch range, but the opponent lets it go so that they can get the farm on their Dragonite. What I'm going to do here is I am going to go ahead and throw this Precipice Blades. If I can only go for one move, it's going to do more damage that way. I probably could have gone for 2 Fire Punches, but I still prefer to throw the Precipice Blades. So y'all can let me know in the comments which one's technically the better one to throw, but I'm pretty convinced that it is indeed the Precipice Blades. But anyway, my opponent is going to be throwing moves here. I'm going to be looking to farm down. I need to get rid of this thing, honestly. The Dragonite is very uncomfy for Mewtwo when it has some energy, so I'm going to look to try to get it. I'm trying hard with 2 shields. I'm hoping and I'm hoping that I can like farm down the D-Knight, or they have something in the back that's not a ridiculously hard counter to Mewtwo, and they come in with a Metagross. So yeah, this is about as bad as it gets, but I have a shield advantage. My opponent lets the Shadow Ball through, thinking maybe it's just a Psy Strike bait, but no, sir, I don't bait, at least not here. Shadow Ball was my only win condition. Now, I have 2 options here, and honestly, what I probably should have done was tried to farm down this Metagross and leave with 2 Psy Strikes, but I don't know if that Dragonite has a move or not. And I almost felt like I could have farmed him down, but I think now they're at 2. So either way, I would have ended up having to tank a Dragon Claw. So it's hard to say. Like, I would have had to shield a Meteor Mash to get the farm down, and then I would have got hit with the Dragon Claw, or I would have had to take 2 Dragon Claws, and unfortunately, I was not, because I threw the Shadow Ball, I was a smidge of energy away from getting that next Psy Strike. I thought I had 2. So, well played, good game to my opponent. Oh, and then this thing, Rhyperior. Man, you know what? This is a very uncomfortable thing, and I realized after the fact, I could beat this. I could. But here's the thing, folks. So I stay in here thinking this is a good matchup, and I also stay in here thinking, oh, there's no way that this was enough to get to a Rock Wrecker. They're probably just throwing Breaking Swipe. Nope, that was a Rock Wrecker, and it hurts. So my opponent swaps out, catches this move on Lugia, and I'm in absolute shambles now because I have a Groudon in the back. My Rayquaza is almost gone. So I have to come in Mewtwo. Thankfully, there is an attack drop off the Breaking Swipe here. It's guaranteed, I know, but it's still nice to have it. And I'm going to start going for Shadow Balls here. The opponent not getting the Sky Attack until their 6th Dragon Tail to start is kind of huge. So that's going to allow me to use my energy a little bit more efficiently. I know the opponent's probably just going to go for Sky Attack here, so what I'm going to look to do is go for as much energy as I can, try and come out of this matchup either with a Psy Strike loaded or get a shield and hit him with a Psy Strike, you know, whatever, either one I'm going to go here. But I do go ahead and yeah, goodness gracious. I go ahead and throw the Psy Strike into the Rhyperior that comes in after the opponent lets their Pokemon go down, and then they have a Rayquaza in the back, and yeah, this is pretty bad. So I'm gonna save the Psy Strike. I tried to catch a Breaking Swipe, hoping that they would try to throw it, but the opponent holding on to their energy with great patience. Very well done. I'm gonna go ahead and shield a Breaking Swipe here. I figure I might as well try and get some damage, but like at this point, there's nothing I can do. Like, the Breaking Swipes are gonna come so fast. These Precipice Blades don't matter, right? So I'm not having a good time right now. I'm gonna throw Precipice Blades, but I'm basically a fish flailing in the water. They're not gonna do nearly enough damage to make this Rayquaza with 2 shields even break a sweat. Opponent going for another move here. I mean, at this point, I just kind of give up. I know that I'm not gonna win, unfortunately. I think that the correct play here would be to shield the Rock Wrecker. That would have been helpful, but also it would not have been a bad idea for me to, oops, just talking and forgetting about the transition here, get a Groudon greatly in the next game. Might have been better for me to try and fight for Switch to get the Groudon on the Rhyperior because of how quick it gains energy with Mud Shot. Maybe that would have been a better play. But anyway, Rayquaza mirror. Opponent didn't like the lead because they had Groudon, so they swapped in their Rayquaza. And the thing is because my Rayquaza is ahead by 1 turn due to that swap, I can go for the Breaking Swipe and they won't sneak a move through, which means I can farm them all the way down. My Mewtwo comes in, the Groudon even shields. Yes, the Precipice Blades is going to hurt, but I had been Breaking Swiped, and I really didn't want to throw that move with the debuff. So I swapped out my Rayquaza, looking to save it for later. It's going to win CMP against most things. It's Rayquaza, potato, whatever. But I'm gonna go for another Psy Strike here. Opponent shields it up. Did they really just bait with a Fire Punch? I was talking, so I wasn't paying as much attention. They're just going Fire Punch. Trainer, eventually you have to throw the Precipice. This is why I don't, I try not to bait too much. I only try to bait like when it makes sense. Opponent's got a Metagross in the back. That's it. They don't even get to the Meteor Mash. The opponent just done. All right, next game, y'all. Talking too much. Betsy and Calvin, RPS teammate on the rock. Oh my goodness, I just had a stroke when I said Roslark Bow, Master League / alternate, excellent trainer. Safe swaps in their Dialga after losing lead with the Ho-Oh. Now, they were in the stream earlier, so I think they were clued in and they knew that I was running. They knew what I was running, of course, but they weren't watching. They weren't stream sniping. This is a genuine game by someone who's just playing their team and just happens to now know what I'm running because they were in my stream earlier. But Ho-Oh's going to come in and just abuse me for energy. They know I'm running Ancient Power from the stream, so that's why I imagine they probably swapped out. Most Ho-Oh typically don't swap out, and what I like to do against them is CMP tie them on the 5th Dragon Tail or the 3rd Incinerate to try and get that Ancient Power off. Now, the nice thing here is that I will be able to make it to a Fire Punch. Not sure if this is going to be enough to KO. I don't think it's even... I think it's going to leave with like a fraction of its HP. Yeah, no. So I'm going to come in, and I get denied. And that sucks. Because now the Ho-Oh gets to live. I don't think it really matters, because a 2-shield Zacian is going to destroy me. I go for the breaking swipe here. Again, that seems like a mistake in hindsight. Probably should have kept an Ancient Power and then tried to get the shields off with Mewtwo. I feel like maybe that would have been the better play here because the Ho-Oh is in the back and all it's going to really get used for is a catch. I let the first move go. I'm going to go for the Wild Charge. Thanks to the debuff, I can now live 2, but it's still not comfy. I'm absolutely not comfy at all right now. Wild Charge is going to get my Mewtwo very close to being KO'd. Again, all I want to do here is probably go for a couple of Psy Strikes, see if I can get the shields off this Zacian, which I'm going to have to, naturally. And since we're both running a 2-turn move, I'm going to throw immediately instead of try to throw an extra move because I'm getting close to being taken out. And see, there's the catch. And unfortunately for me, I have a shield here. There's a solid chance, trainers, that I don't think there's a solid chance. I think I have way too much energy. This is like that one time where you wish you had it, Dragon Ascent, but it wouldn't have mattered at all. I needed to get to the Ancient Power. I think they would have been in range after those definitely after the Wild Charges, but like I said, I wish I had banked the energy because knowing in hindsight that her Zacian had Wild Charge, probably close combat as well, that would have been just a much more in hindsight sort of play, right? Bank the Ancient Power and just come back in with it later. That would have been a win, I think. So getting into the next game here, we do have a Xerneas, and for some reason it wants to throw close combat into my Mewtwo. I've seen 2 trainers that I've played against do that. I think that they're just trying to fake the Moonblast and go for the close combat to save some energy, but yeah, I don't know. I would just full send the Moonblast because not every Mewtwo is going to shield that. So, opponent shields up the Shadow Ball after calling the Psy Strike, and I cannot get to another Psy Strike. It was so close, and I wanted to so bad. So I have to come in with my Dialga. I'm trying to save my Groudon to deal with the Xerneas in the back, and I'm going to go for this Breaking Swipe here before the opponent can get to another Iron Head. Thankfully, hopefully this takes them out. They let it go. Immediately pivoting back into my Groudon because I don't want the Xerneas to, see my Rayquaza. That's a very bad matchup for it. And, yeah, opponent's got a Kyogre in the back. And so, you remember that guy who stream sniped me earlier? He said it's winnable. And I'm looking at this, I'm like, dude, there's no way. But the opponent lets that go, and I have a shield, and I get 2 moves way fascinated. I'm like, okay, all right, let's cook. Let's see what happens. So, we're going to shield up the Surf, go 1, 2, 3, 4, throw that Fire Punch. They only got 3 Surfs in that time, so I should still be able to get to another Fire Punch. And the opponent shields the Fire Punch, and I'm going to go for another Fire Punch. Now the question is, can I get to a precipice before I get taken out by the Xerneas? That's what I'm going to have to figure out here. 1, 2, 3. I'm going to have to go into my Rayquaza here. Opponent goes for a move. If they got a Moonblast, it's over, dude. Got the Moonblast and it's over. My opponent goes for close combat. And yes, this is one of those games where my opponent absolutely threw this by going for close combat. I'd love to know if this was just a single move Xerneas or if they were just running some other really bad charge move that close combat was somehow better, because now I can just pop in and go for the Fire Punch that I had stored. My opponent goes for the Moonblast, it's over. I lose. So I'll take the win. It's nice. It's nice for my win, my elo, but I should have lost that game, let's be honest. Turbo lead in the next game with an extra drill. So we're going to pivot into the Mewtwo. Opponent's staying in here, looking to try and do some damage before maybe they dip out. Maybe do a chip and dip strategy. Makes sense. They get to the move before I do, thanks to the 1-turn delay from the switch. Opponent's staying in. I'm going to go ahead and go for a Psy Strike. I'm going to act like I'm going for like a Focus Blast here. I want to get the shield off this Excadrill first. The opponent calls the bait like an absolute Giga Chad, but they're staying in, which means now this gets to stay away from my Rayquaza, which I am totally fine with. And they are still staying in, so I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, and my opponent reads it, and they swap in a D-Knight. Now, this Psy Strike is still going to hurt, and I've got enough energy to get to another one, so I'm going to let it go right away. Yeah, okay, sure, I could have farmed up a little bit of extra energy there, but I figured I would rather get a shield right quick, but the opponent just lets the D-Knight go down, which I think was a mistake. I'm wondering if they have another flyer in the back. That would certainly make some sense to me, but I'm going to go for the Psy Strike here right away. Opponent is overloading on energy by quite a bit. Mewtwo is putting in so much work in this game here. It's actually kind of insane. I figure, okay, maybe they only have 1 flyer in the back, so I go to catch this drill run on my Groudon, and I start farming. Now, I think I have to shield this one here just to preserve what's up to my Groudon. So I'm going to see what they have in the back, and the opponent comes in with a Gyarados, and this is not what I needed to see, dude. Oh, this is not at all what I needed to see. Oh, this is miserable. No, the opponent does have 2 flyers. They're playing a premier team in the back here. The opponent's got a shield up on the Gyarados, and this is a win. Stay glued to your seats, because I actually win this game by the hair of my chinny chin chin. Going for the next precipice blades, the opponent going for a full farm down, but they throw before I get a chance to even throw Fire Punch here. And that's nice, because that's less energy you have to deal with. Now, here's the thing. Rayquaza eats this energy for breakfast. It's got a Crunch. Okay. Got an Aqua Tail. Nice. Crunch is not going to do enough damage against the Rayquaza. It will lower my defense. And they get another move in, and I'm like, oh, are you kidding me? New mechanic to the rescue. But it's just an Aqua Tail. The opponent has an Excadrill with Mud Shot. It's not enough. Opponent not shielding. Oh, that's the end of the... That's the last game. Oh, look at that. All right. Anyway, getting off to an 8-2 run here. Or it was an 8-2, 7-3, something like that. The team, I played this on stream. You know, y'all were there for the molding session and everything. It did pretty good. Got me up to about 2352. Not doing too bad here, but y'all, it was a great time on the stream. Please, again, Monday, Wednesday, Friday at 6 p.m. Eastern, come check me out. It's a fun time. I mauled my face off, and then somehow I still make gains afterwards. So love to see you there. And again, check out the Patreon if you're interested in getting my access or early access to my content, as in YouTube videos, teams, etc. And check me out Metafy if you're looking to get some coaching. I got that first time coupon in the video there. I should probably put that in my description. It'll probably make sense so y'all can actually see it. So thank y'all so much for watching. We'll catch you in the next one. Bye.